right, so welcome to the Crew Live. Today's going to be an awesome session. The crew is in session. We've got some topics that will really get your juices flowing. Maybe some stuff men shouldn't even really talk about. But glad to have you here. Today we've got Mark, Rich, Matt, and I'm Jim. Cheers, boys.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers.
Never have my cup ready.
So let's transition. Talking about Trump and misogyny and his hatred of women. There's a little issue women go through monthly that really doesn't seem fair in a lot of people's views.
Okay.
No, you gotta stay.
When they have to clean the toilets?
Okay, it's not when they have to clean the toilets. We're gonna move into a really interesting topic that I think you guys have got a lot of familiarity with over the years. Any of you guys ever started as a young pubescent boy bleeding out your groin region?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah. But that was because I got punched in the kidneys too many times and you bleed out your...
Oh, did you?
It's not good.
Really?
Oh.
No.
Did it stop though? Did it come back every month?
No, that'd be horrible.
No. So I want to ask you guys what you know about menstruation.
As men?
Yeah, as men. When do men ever talk about...
As men, we're going to talk about menstruation
when do men ever talk about the period?
Only in fear, Jim.
I don't talk about it. I avoid it.
Why?
Well,
Like the plague.
yeah, and that was often, the attitude, like even growing up in high school, it's like you tried to learn about it in health class and like, it was sort of the, I don't want to know about this.
Yeah, I don't
and,
even
like,
remember them teaching it because I was...
Yeah, it was like, sort of lightly touched on, but at any rate, it was just one of those things that, girls never felt comfortable talking to you about.
Do you guys all remember
As
the
a
first
rule.
girl you saw have her period?
So,
Not close and personal.
I can't say I like this
I
that.
don't.
But you're hitting that elementary grade 7. I still remember one of the first girls in grade 7, 8. I can't remember what it was. That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
But same thing. She's like up, runs out of the room,
Yeah.
little dabble of blood on her seat. And we all knew, we're
Right.
not stupid. We never taught per se, a little bit through health, I guess, whatever we called it back then. I don't know.
Yeah, right.
But again, everybody's polite about it at the time. Like even
Even
as
the
boys, nobody made fun of her. Because
Really?
we all understand it's a traumatic experience for a young girl.
Was
to go.
that still the same when she was out of the room though?
Yeah,
Or,
we were out of the room.
a
We all
week-
saw
a week
but
later. Because
No.
my experience with
Yeah,
it was
for
very
sure.
different, and it was like, sort of, it was horrible now that I think back about it. But and it wasn't me doing it, but I remember lots of people saying, "Oh, such and such happened to this person," or what's her name, had this happen at school, and it was kind of like poking fun at her, and it's like, well.
So you grew up with a bunch of jerks.
Yeah, well,
But in the crisis
to
moment,
some respect, but-
there was respect, but then
Yeah.
you dealt with the trauma after by joking about her?
Yeah, I didn't.
You
But
didn't?
No,
Good
but
for you.
when I'm
Not
saying
we
that, it's
believe
like,
you now.
Yeah.
No, I would not admit it either if I did.
No, other guys are assholes.
I can honestly say that it was not me because I grew up in a house with 4 sisters, and while I was kind of right in the middle, my brother was already basically moved out of the house. He was older than me, and I had 2 older sisters and 2 younger sisters. So I was around female issues all
had no choice,
all the
man.
time,
You
right?
had
So
no-
I was.
yeah.
And honestly, that I think served me very well because I was fairly, sensitive
Yeah,
to
right.
the fact, growing up. I mean, maybe my wife would disagree sometimes, but
But we
all
never
have
understand
times-
it, though. That's
right.
the point.
Well,
Like
what
your wife would disagree because you don't have the issues, the cramping, the hormonal
Yeah.
crazy ass.
You guys all know that I watch a lot of TV.
No, actually, I don't know this.
I
much,
do
Rich.
watch a lot of TV. And based on the media, actually, you guys are all wrong.
How?
All the commercials, everything that has to do with the women's period, it's a party, man. These girls are all having fun.
That's true.
They're swimming, like
They're swimming,
tampon
yeah.
commercials.
All the things are right tampons in
They're-
swimming.
I see them rock climbing in these commercials.
Yeah.
I don't have to take a single day
So
of
clearly-
personal time.
Clearly,
whatever,
exactly.
right?
It's clearly a party when
Yeah.
you're on your period, according
Well,
to the media, anyways.
There was a study, and I think you guys might have looked at the article. You might remember 1 or 2 of the names. It was conducted by CLUE with International Women's Health Coalition. 90,000 responses, and 190 different countries spanned this study. So they were looking for answers on who takes time off work when they're having their period, when they're in their monthly menstruation cycle. They were also looking for euphemisms for the monthly period. I don't know if you read any of them, but France and China spoke about them in slang terms as well. One of them is the strawberries, is basically the strawberry field is one of them in China.
Really?
Yeah, and maybe you heard of Shark Week.
No.
I had not heard of that
Can't
one.
say
until
I've
I
heard
read
that.
Did
the
you read that
article.
one?
Yeah. It was, yeah, I mean, you sort of, they all
Although
sort of make
Sharktopus is
sense,
an
but-
awesome movie.
Shark.
If you guys want to watch a B movie, Sharktopus.
Never seen Sharktopus.
It's amazing.
Yeah. So here's some of the euphemisms that are most frequently used in the English language. Well, we've heard of ant flow, time of the month on the rags. Red tide is one of them. Code red. In other languages, they call it the crimson tide or the Bloody Mary or even the blob. I've got the blob. I can't imagine.
Can't imagine a person actually saying that, but
No.
So do you know women that have book sick because they're...
Yeah, that because the painters are in is
The
another
painters are in, yes.
euphemism, right?
Because-
or the commies are coming.
Because Eso com chico,
So come Chico. What does that
that's
one
in
mean?
Brazil.
And what does it say? Brazil.
I'm with Chico.
I'm with Chico. So Chico.
Or in China, its little sister has come.
And that's not a really bad one, but
Denmark's kind of crazy. Der communist i litlusit, which means
translate.
granny's stuck in traffic. How's that relate to a period? Granny's stuck in
No,
traffic.
I can't come out tonight because Granny's stuck in traffic.
That's messed up, man.
Well, now we'll know.
yeah, I saw something about in Portugal it was referred to as my ketchup.
My ketchup. I have my
That now
ketchup.
makes more sense.
Yeah,
but
like it's-
granny's stuck in traffic.
Yeah,
I don't get
I
that.
don't know. That's just brushing aside the actual issue.
Because granny wouldn't get her period
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah. So.
Granny wouldn't have her period.
Yeah.
Well, because menopause occurs
Yeah.
eventually. Well, so to think about the menstruation process that females go through, a young friend of ours told me I could share the story. She was in a trip in Europe.
Which one?
She was on a trip in Europe with a group of college students, and she's in the Louvre waiting. There's huge lineups for everything. And all of a sudden, the flow starts slowly coming. And she tells her buddies, I gotta get to the bathroom. She goes, there's a huge lineup at the bathroom because the bathroom's closed. And so she gets in line thinking, okay, I'll be patient, it should be moderate and whatever. Now, obviously, when you travel, things get unpredictable as well because you're in a different time zone. So I can lengthen the story, and I wish you were here to tell it because it's fantastic. She
And your name is?
she tries to butt in line because she knows the washroom's going to open soon, and people are just pushing her off, and they won't. I have an urgent matter. I've got to get in there. Nobody will say when she talks to the custodial staff. The person is a female, and they've got to sign up. And she says, I need to get in there. No, you can't go in. She won't let her in because they're cleaning the bathroom, right? Got to clean the
Oh,
loo.
that's why it was closed.
That's right.
I was trying to think, what kind of sadistic
Was it a
person closes the
transgender
bathroom?
No, it's not transgender.
Did she say, I have my period?
So finally, she feels on her thigh, her knee, when it's running to her ankle. Yeah, I know. It's ankle. She lifts her skirt up and shows the custodial lady, look, I've got my flow, or whatever she said. I think shark week, whatever term she used. She says, and the lady says, quick, get in, get in. Everybody in line just scattered and helped her. It was like that school thing where you just respected everybody. She said it was amazing. Hurry, hurry, hurry. And they all just rushed her
Because
in.
that's a Native American term, I believe. It's called your moon time. It's your most
Sure.
powerful time for women. So,
Oh, interesting.
yeah.
And do they have power during that time?
Apparently, yes. I didn't research it, but I've heard this multiple times in the past.
Do they have
That
power?
they're strongest at their moon time.
Do they?
Why didn't she go in the men's bathroom?
Yeah,
That's a good question. I don't know.
Where were you? Why were you not the Louvre?
Yeah,
You could've
I
helped
should have
her.
been there.
I was. I'm the one who put the bathroom out of order.
But interesting. Why didn't she go in the man's bathroom? What if she would have walked into the man's bathroom and said, "I've got my period. I need to deal with this."
Guys would have covered their eyes and
Probably
walked
would have
away.
had the bathroom to herself.
Right. So we would have been respectful.
Yeah.
But when it comes to women taking time off, I think you asked the question, or
I
maybe
did.
you? Yeah. Do you know anybody who's taken time off work because of their monthly flow?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You have? And how do you feel about it?
Well, they didn't. It wasn't like a stat pay or anything. It's not like they took it off because they had cramps.
So they had some pain.
It's not like they do it every month. It's not like it's mandatory pay.
It just
It's-
becomes extreme.
Because
Yeah.
in this
They
study, I'm
become like
referencing.
sick. It's like a sudden onset of the flu, food poisoning. It's
yeah,
like
it's-
they're destroyed and they can't leave the house.
That's a physiological, scientifically proven
Yeah.
thing. Like it's not even for us to, a couple of guys sitting around here chatting about it, and it's like
Suck it up,
we're
woman.
kind of like I have no idea what it's like,
No, you
right?
don't,
So
man.
I mean, I can relay third party information, but it's sort of.
And we'll take that.
And
Well,
we'll take it. This is the Crew Live.
Well, I was
which
going to
means-
say, like, it's, obviously it's. I've never known anyone to make up, like, oh, I'm just going to say I have my period and I'll go to work.
Not
No,
even when you're
I-
bugging her late at night. honey, I got my period. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, sorry.
No, so it's like, I think just for us, it's like, you just have to respect that. It's like, I mean, that's as a woman, that was the card you were dealt, right?
Sure.
So I mean,
Are you
That's a
leaving out
card
something?
you're
well, it is, but it's like, who are we to say like, oh, you're fine?
Like, I
knock
think we
it
can
off,
assume
shake
that
it
all
off,
ladies
like-
have probably had it really severe sometimes
Yeah.
and taken a day or two off.
I would
Yeah.
think so. Like they all cycle up and down. Like there's different
But
versions.
Should you
right?
mention there's movement towards it being?
There's a movement towards it being the monthly time off for females who are experiencing this should be granted. And you don't think they should be?
I don't know, man. That's a tough call. I gotta say, if you want to
Unless
answer
you're
now,
bleeding out your bits, I don't
no,
think you can
no,
say.
you decide. Okay, no, they shouldn't be. Unless you're what?
it cannot be.
I think it's got to be a little common sense. I think if they're incapacitated because they're cramping so bad, they're changing their plugs. What do they call those things? Tampons, pads, every 10 minutes because it's just gore everywhere.
Yeah, it can't
Then
be
I think they
mandatory,
should
but
stay at home. You're like, no, nobody wants you around right now.
Well, that's my favorite when I hear them say it's like a crime scene in my pants.
Yeah, and nobody wants to be
Or-
around
or-
that.
No, you're right.
Stay home that day.
I would say stay home that day. I would say if I were able to make the decision now, say I'm going to give every gal. Well, I guess a day's not enough. Like some it could be 3 days, some it could be
I
4.
think it's often just one.
I just
really
changed
bad
my
day
tune
often,
on that.
so, yeah.
One really bad.
Not always. Maybe they have more, but generally, if a woman has a bad period,
Mhm.
then it would be often one really horrifying.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Oh my
see,
God, I'm
that's-
dying.
yeah, I don't.
That's
I
like,
wanna,
I was just gonna say, I think the problem that I have with that is that like that's sort of saying, oh yeah, we know sort of how it is for everybody, so let's just say, oh, it's very general terms.
we could do a
But
blanket
it's-
policy.
Exactly, it's going
Right.
to be completely different for different women,
Well,
and for me, it's like it doesn't affect me whether
No shit.
whether a female coworker or someone else has to stay home. It's like, well, that's a physical medical condition. Like,
Right.
take
and it
time,
depends on their time
obviously.
of life
Yeah.
and whether they're on the pill or not.
Yeah.
And they don't have a choice.
They don't have a choice. Shit just happens. Down
True.
there.
Well, for God's sakes, I can't imagine as a 12-year-old boy having to deal with that, particularly in whatever era I grew up in. I think it was the 80s when I would have been that maybe.
Early 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where there was little explanation by many parents. Did your
Mhm.
parents explain this kind of topic to you, or you?
We were boys. Why would they explain
Well,
this to
right.
us?
Like, yeah, like if little girls went through the same thing, they didn't know what was happening, and then they carry. It has to happen for 5 decades for some. Well, I guess 4 decades might be acceptable for some of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I vote yeah. Let them have time off work.
As
you're
needed.
saying like mandatory.
No,
Every
not
28
mandatory,
days
no.
you get
No,
3
because
days
they don't
off.
have it every 28 days. Some are 28,
In
some
general.
are 21,
In general.
and everywhere in between.
So in general, you're saying yes, 3 days every 28 days they should have
Okay,
off.
I'm going to amend that
Because of course, if they're like Matt was saying earlier, if they're really having a rough day, who wouldn't? I mean,
Yeah.
take the day off for sure.
yeah. If
but
they're
often
really,
women on their pill don't have rough periods.
so it's smoother, more
it's
smooth.
smoother. For some reason, it goes easy for women on their pill.
Well, and also, I think I'll amend mine. I'm going to say every 2 months because what I've understood about menstruation is that when one side of the fallopian tube sheds, it's less intense than the other side. I think the right side is more intense in most women, is what I've read. And so this kind of confuses things. 1 month will feel really smooth. Oh, that was okay. I got through it. Yay, we're still married and nobody got stabbed in the throat.
And next
And
month,
then
she's a demon from hell.
well, yeah, nobody I know is, but I hear
No,
that's the
I've
case.
heard other women, yes.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. But
Well,
okay, so let's spend a couple minutes on the manly cycle that happens regularly. Do you guys notice a hormone cycle for yourselves?
Absolutely.
You do, hey? Like,
Yep.
are you a prick more often than less often?
I don't
You know,
know, but
when it
I can feel sometimes when I feel like I get into a rut,
Yeah.
and it becomes a conscious thing that I almost have to force my way out of it.
Oh yeah.
So
No pain.
whether you can or not, no pains, but it's like I would say it's maybe even there. Who knows? Maybe it goes back to the lunar cycle and you know why people are a little more crazy when there's a full moon or whatever. Whether there's something to that or not, I don't know, but.
Because it's actually, there's a study now out talks about IMS, irritable man syndrome.
I'm just seeing this
Yeah.
right now. I'm going to read it real quick while
Yeah,
you talk.
check that
Continue
over.
on.
Yeah, so irritable man syndrome says that males do have a hormonal cycle, and it's not only daily, but it's also monthly, and some of us turn into really more aggressive assholes at certain points in the month, where stuff triggers us a little quicker, and we're more dismissive to our partners, and we have less patience, more anger. Our testosterone's higher, which causes us to be angry. And as we age, I point to Matt and I, because you guys seem young, and then we seem, okay, I'll point to myself. As we age,
Oh, I'm old with you.
yeah,
But
yeah,
I feel good.
our testosterone level goes down, our estrogen level goes up, and sometimes progesterone, which causes more kind of aggressive responses because of the imbalance of hormones in us.
Do you ever have
Well, it's-
sympathetic periods with your wife?
Like, so we're kind of cycling
So
together.
your wife is moody. Do you feel like you're almost moody with her?
No, I don't feel like
I
it.
don't want. I want to stop pointing at. Do I need to keep pointing at that?
No, you don't. After next set, we'll change it so it doesn't time out. Our one computer screen keeps timing out and blanking out, and it's so distracting. If we had a tech guy to run this thing, that'd be awesome. Okay, so no, I've never had that. But what I did do at one point was I would track the sequence to try to be a week ahead to really understand. Okay, we may be coming into a bit of a bumpy couple days, so can I be more in tune with what's happening and be a better support and partner? I was weak at it at best, honestly.
There's no sense doing that.
No.
You know when it's coming.
You might be more sensitive than me.
Just balance it out.
Let's all track our own
Well, that's
Our own
menstrual,
periods?
our menstrual
Well,
cycle.
See, that's tougher because it's.
Let's see if we
Because
can.
you're in the middle of it. Same.
Well,
see if
Women
we
can't
can
track
track
it.
it.
They don't know when they're crazy. Afterwards, they realize.
I did not condone that.
Censor!
For any ladies
That's not going to make the podcast.
No, but
Okay.
any woman we're involved with, wives, whatever, but they all understand at the time. At the time, they don't know.
Sure.
They want to stab you in your sleep, and you don't understand why. They make zero sense.
And when they come,
But after the fact, almost after they come out of it,
come out the other side.
they go, "I'm sorry." Like they go,
That's
"Wow,
true.
I realized I was a bit off during that time period." So it's just the hormones. It's a chemical imbalance.
But-
My-
Same
my
reason
wife
people
knows
take
it's
medication.
But if we track it, like Rich says, for our own irritable man syndrome cycle, and I'll read you a bit about the daily
Just
hormone
curious
cycle
if
just
it's-
quickly.
if it's trackable.
If it's trackable. Well, some
Yeah.
say it is. I mean, we could get hormone tests, but say I track it. Why don't I do that then tomorrow? Apologize to my wife. Say, hey, sorry, I was a bit of an asshole for the last couple of days.
But sometimes you are, James.
Well, I know I am, but I should learn to recognize why.
You should always apologize when you're an asshole, though.
But
Whatever
okay.
the reason.
I've been looking for a new excuse
You're
to
right,
be
you
an
should.
asshole.
Yeah, so it's not like I had my menstruation. I'm sorry, I'm an asshole. It's not my fault. I had
You're right.
menstruation.
Like at our
You're an
age-
asshole. Period.
Being in our
Apologize.
mid to late 30s, haven't you run out of excuses for being a dick?
Yeah.
And now we have a new one.
No, Rich.
This
As long as
is-
you can have a dick, you're always
yeah.
going to be a dick.
This is
We
why.
have a new
Man,
one.
no.
Oh, I'm
No.
sorry I was
That's-
menstruating.
Okay,
see,
speaking of, oh, go
I
ahead,
was
Mark.
going to say, I would find that tough because without any physiological cues to know that, things are changing,
Yeah.
it'd be hard to say it's not, maybe your mood isn't changed based on external factors as opposed to this, men's cycle, like you call
Sure.
it, that you're on, right? So to be able to differentiate those two, that would be tough to do.
Yeah, it would be.
Does that make sense? Like, or maybe I'm not saying it very well.
Okay,
but
off
it's kinda,
topic, similar topic. Just want to point out, any large drug companies watching this right now, I got a great idea for you.
Oh,
We
okay.
have such a large following.
Yeah, some of the
Uh,
biggest drug companies in the
If
world
you
watch
think
the
about
True Lies.
this,
Don't give it. They'll steal it.
they can take
He's
it.
given
This
it
is
to
for
them.
the goodness of mankind.
If he's giving it to them, they don't have to steal
the
it.
goodness of mankind. If you
That's
think
about the
it,
future, not about today.
Well, I'm
People
gonna,
take chemicals for depression, ADHD, everything. Why do they not have a pill to balance a woman's hormones during those 3 days? It's my period's coming up. I'm going to take over the counter this pill.
Well,
Like
Zoloft.
Advil.
I think for some
they
where
do
it's
have
very
it,
severe, that
It's
that does
prescription,
exist.
but it should almost be Advil, Tylenol. Oh, period.
and maybe some.
just a big
And
red dot on
the
the
big
bottle.
red, just a big red dot on the bottle. That'd be awesome, actually.
and
That'd
it comes
be a
in
good
a
selling point.
it comes in a
Okay,
two
so we
pack
gotta
where
get
there's
this
also
going.
the men's side.
Oh,
Before
It's like-
Jim
it's like a
edits
day
this and
night.
puts it on YouTube and it's seen by millions, we need to
But
get this
think
into
about
play.
that. Think
yeah.
about that. That'd be awesome. And then your
Somebody
husband, wife, boyfriend, whatever relationship you have, just push the bottle at you. You're like, okay. They take the pill. They just chill the shit out of it.
Wow.
Well, and there you go, and you could have the 2-pack where you also have the man's version of the pill.
There's
at
no
the same
man's version
side.
of the pill.
Well,
We're
it could
fine.
be,
They're
it could be
awesome.
something like Zoloft or something
Yeah.
to just calm you down.
to help us be more understanding. So,
Exactly.
So just a quick note on the male hormone cycle, and we're going to stop this session, and we'll reconvene shortly. But the male hormone cycle is also a 24-hour period. In the morning, testosterone's high. So what this particular hormone horoscope website says is that a dude is mostly energetic, talkative, aggressive, focused, competitive, independent. He's impulsive and confident. This is a good time for boning or sex, if you pick a name you want to call it, because that's when a lot of men prefer
You
it.
say boning?
Yeah.
That's inappropriate. I'm not comfortable with that.
Oh, sorry. It's a man couch. Like we have to say sometimes
It's
words like
late
that to
afternoon
prove
right
women.
now, so my testosterone is low.
Yeah, in the middle of your cycle, late afternoon, you're a tad mellower.
I am mellow.
Yeah, than your morning self, but you're not empty yet. You're still a little upbeat and driven. And in the evening, it's the lowest. Our testosterone is lowest during.
So you're saying if we shot the show in the morning, we'd be more aggressive?
I think so. Let's do a morning version.
We should do a morning version,
Like
see what
Fight
happens.
Well, you know what? For myself, in the last probably 7-8 years, have noticed that in the morning, and sometimes when I'm at home with my family, I'm particularly testy to everybody. Just in the morning, because it's like you're kind of fresh out
Is
of
that right,
bed,
eh?
might be a little tired. But it's like, I notice that about myself, and it's just like,
Huh.
you gotta dial it back. And
Your
Yeah.
cycle's off.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes my wife is the same. If we're both a little short and
We'll
we start,
sync our
we
cycles.
start getting at it a
the
little bit,
conflict
it's
is
just
easier to happen, eh?
we can just say, you know what, this is stupid. Like we're just
Yeah.
arguing over nonsense.
And
We're
it's
just
probably
a little tired,
hormonal.
let's-
It may be hormonal for both of us.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you feel safe enough on the couch to tell us that your cycle is just putting you off a little bit.
Just in the morning.
That's
I find it a little awkward from this couch, but
That's a support group. Okay, well that's the end of this session on the Crew Live. Period. We need to stop this topic, and we're done now. Yeah. So hope you join us for the next session of the Crew Live. Thanks for being here. We'll look forward to seeing you on our next episode, where you'll be once again brought into all the discussions that you never want to have with anybody you care about. Cheers.
Cheers.